Doug Karsh for MGoBlue.com. Michigan gets a new offensive coordinator in Al Borges, who's been coordinating offenses for 24 years. And suffice it to say, he feels pretty good about being in Ann Arbor. What do you think? You're at Michigan. How you feel about it?
I'm fired up. This is it doesn't get much better than this. And I mean, I've been lucky. I've been in some pretty good places, but this, this is the best. I mean, the tradition here and everything. You just, as soon as you step on campus, you start feeling it, Doesn't take too long. And I grew up, I'm a West Coast guy, but I've watched as much Big Ten football as I've watched Pac-10 football. And, I grew up a little kid watching the Rose Bowl, and I remember back in the 70s and early 70s in Stanford playing Ohio State and Michigan and, going through that whole deal. But to be here is really a little surreal,
24 years you've been an offensive coordinator.
Don't remind me. I've gone nowhere in 25. I still have the same job.
What do you make of the rest of the offense? You've watched 4 games.
Yeah,
what do you got to work with?
I like our guys. I really do. I think we got a good nucleus of a good offensive football team. We've got an offensive line. I believe 4 of the 5 are back. Running backs look pretty solid. Wide receivers, we've got wide receivers galore. So, and as we look at, and particularly during spring ball, because we're going to be hunting and pecking a little bit in terms of which groups are the best groups to be on the field. Maybe it's 3 wides, maybe it's 2 backs, or whatever, however it is. We use a multiplicity of groupings, but there's always one you're a little better at than the others based on the talent of the players. So we'll see. We'll learn a little bit with them as we go into spring. But
having watched as much Big Ten football as you said you've watched, is there a way to go about winning in the Big Ten that you recognize?
I'm on the Brady Hoke page, and I always have been, even before I met Brady. But I think toughness is critical. I mean, you got to start with that. This is not for the faint of heart now, and particularly in this conference, is because there's a lot of people coming off the ball and forcing the issue, and we're going to try and do that same thing. But I think you start with toughness and you start with great effort. Guys got to learn that every play has got to be played like it's your last play. Offensively, it's got to be a premium on execution and seeing to it that all the things are done with meticulous precision. And I was once told a great coach makes the kids do what he wants them to do. He doesn't give them, they got to come with us. They got to do what we wanted them to do, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hard coach them, and we're going to love them up, and we're going to make it hard on them sometimes. But at the end of the day, I think they'll appreciate what this staff brings to the table, because there's a lot of experience and a lot of guys know what they're doing.
Coming up later this week, part 2 of our conversation with new Michigan offensive coordinator Al Borges here on MGoBlue.com. I'm Doug Karsh.